Is there anybody in U.S. politics right now more pathetic than Lindsey Graham? I don't think there is. This is a man who is doing everything he can to defend Donald Trump, as even Republican senators, his fellow Republican senators and congresspeople, are starting to at least partially abandon him. And this morning on Fox News, he absolutely embarrassed himself yet again, bending over backwards to defend this awful president.
Well, he's trying to put in an agenda, and you've got the Democrats pushing to impeach who will be a former president, Senator.
Yeah, this is insane at every level. It will create further division in the country. What good comes from impeaching Donald Trump after he leaves office? This is a scarlet letter impeachment where the Democrats are trying openly to disqualify President Trump from ever holding office again after he leaves office. This has never been done in the history of our country. I think it is blatantly unconstitutional. It's being driven by the radical left. And what is Joe Biden doing? He's sitting on the sidelines and doing nothing. One phone call from President-elect Biden would stop this. And to my Republican colleagues in the Senate, if we embrace an unconstitutional impeachment of Donald Trump after he's out of office, it will destroy the party. The Republican Party wants to move forward. President Trump's going to be the most important voice in the Republican Party for a long time to come. He's going to accept responsibility for his part on January the 6th, but impeaching him after he leaves office is not only unconstitutional. From a Republican point of view, it would destroy our party. I hope the Republican senators know that, because it is a reality, and it will not help the country, the most important thing. Impeaching him after he leaves office will be disastrous for this country and our party.
You know, there are a lot of people out there who feel that they never saw I want to get back to Joe Biden in a moment. I know that you had a message for President Trump this morning, Senator.
Yeah, Mr. President, your policies will stand the test of time. You're the most important figure in the Republican Party. You can shape the direction of the party, keep your movement alive.
So you just hear wall-to-wall nonsense there. He's blaming Nancy Pelosi for what happened on the 6th. He's saying that, Republicans, if we dare remove him, we're going to destroy our own party. This is going to be Trump's party forevermore, basically, and we have to acknowledge that. And that we need to realize that he's great. In another clip, he says, I want to send a message to the president that you've done so great and that you've shaped our party and our country for the better, and that we'll have this great legacy. All of this is Trump, pumping up. It's absurd. It's absurd, and he can't even keep his story straight. This was a man that after January 6th, he was like, I'm done with Trump. I don't think we should impeach him necessarily, but I'm done with him. I'm so disappointed. I'm not even going to be friends with him anymore. And a couple days later, he was on Trump's Air Force One jet to Trump's brief visit to Texas, where Trump did the rally at Alamo, right? That was Lindsey Graham. Can't even keep his story straight. This is a man that, again, 4 years ago was a Republican that was right. He was prophetic. He said that Donald Trump being chosen would be a mistake. He would be a bad president. He would hurt the Republican Party. We would lose under him. And they didn't lose in 2016, to be fair, but they did lose everything only 4 years later. And now he's one of the biggest Trump sycophants. It's really something incredible to see. And you have to ask yourself, what the hell does Trump have on Lindsey? What does he have on this man? Again, we've talked about this before Trump put pressure on Brad Raffensperger in Georgia. Lindsey Graham did in the days after, before the election was even certified, before I think the networks called it. Lindsey Graham was on the phone to Raffensperger saying, why don't you just stop, tabulating mail votes? Why don't you just do that? Why can't you just do that? Which, of course, would hurt Democrats because, that's how Democrats voted in the election. It was so before anybody else, Lindsey Graham was the first one trying to, put the screws to the actual will of the people. It gave $500,000 to Trump's legal defense fund. All of these things. Right? It just boggles my mind that he's doing this. What does he have on you, Lindsey? And the thing is, none of this matters. None of it matters, Lindsey. You were doing all of this. You did the $500,000 donation. You did the call to Raffensperger, which may have been illegal, if certainly at least immoral. And when the chips were down and you were at the airport last week, I did a video on it, and I've referenced it a couple times, the Trump supporters still branded you a betrayer of them and Trump and of the Republican rank and file and of conservatives and of their values, saying that we're going to primary you and you're never going to work in Washington again, and this is the last day of your real political career, and on and on and on and on. They don't care about you, and yet you still bend over backwards to defend them. And you have the gall to suggest that it's Nancy Pelosi, her fault what happened. It's Chuck Schumer's fault that Trump is getting impeached. It's Joe Biden's fault that, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are considering holding the trial, when Joe Biden has literally nothing to do with it. The president coming in has nothing to do with this at all. At all. And you're blaming him. The Republican Party is a pathetic vessel. Because even the anti-Trump Republicans, most of them didn't impeach this man a few months ago when they knew he was evil and they knew he was unstable and they knew he was, a threat to democracy. And even some of the anti-Trump Republicans now are like, oh, we have to be the party of Eisenhower and not the party of Trump. But they support Trump's ideology. They're not Eisenhowerian Republicans. They're not. They don't support high minimum wages. They don't support 90% tax rates on the rich. They don't support it making it easier for workers to join a union. They don't support any of the things that made that moderate republicanism up. They're all just Trumpian Republicans in ideology that fundamentally hate the working class, hate minorities, hate anybody that isn't part of their right-wing Christian in-group. And they just hate Trump because of his affect and because of how unstable he is, and because he took the right-wing attack on democracy a couple steps too far. It's no, we only attack democracy by stopping black people from voting. We don't take the mask fully off. We just peel it a little bit, right? And that's why they're mad. And so people like Lindsey Graham, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you grovel. It doesn't matter how much you beg. It doesn't matter how much you display yourself, open for Donald Trump. They will not accept you, because the fact of the matter is they just want their God Emperor on the throne. It doesn't matter. Lindsey Graham doesn't realize this. The Republican Party doesn't realize this. But the fact of the matter is, it's not about respectability with individual Republicans. It's about a party that at its core is rotten and needs to die.